Hello and welcome to the AEW Dynamite preview. I'm Michael Sidgwick, joined by fellow Dudley boy Michael Hamflett to discuss everything that's in store for us on tonight's show. But before we get into it, if you're a fan of this sort of thing, make sure to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling on Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Spotify, and YouTube for daily wrestling podcasts where we preview and review Raw, SmackDown, the show formerly known as NXT 2.0. Dynamite, Collision on occasion, pay-per-views, premium live events. We answer your wrestling questions. We have wrestler interviews on occasion. We have roundtable discussions sometimes if the topic calls for it. And we host a roundup of the week complete with a bloody good quiz, of course, on WhatCulture. Fairly certain I repeated something there in the intro.
Oh, good. People like to hear that. It's fine. You're doing good. You're doing good, buddy.
Thank you. Wilborn.
They're repeating stuff on Dynamite tonight, so in a way, that's the same.
In a way, it was a meta joke. Wilborn's excellent at his job, as you will find out when I woefully fail at the outro of this podcast. But hopefully the body of it is a lot better, and hopefully the body of AEW Dynamite is pretty decent this evening. It certainly looks it on paper, Hamflett.
Yeah, is this like a low-key biggie? This sort of feels like they're kind of, I wouldn't say it's like stacked end to end. But when
it's not a thing on here, I'm like, can't be arsed with that. Everything I think has got an interest.
When they've got a title match main event or a main event that just like absolutely irrefutably is this proper big headline attraction. When it's TV, I think there's sometimes a temptation to be like, well, we've got that. You can do whatever the hell you like on the undercard because we've got that. But this sort of scans as one of those 2-hour mini pay-per-view. It's a special, not just in name, I guess is what I'm getting at here. It does feel like the rest of the card has been fleshed out around the branding of like this being a bit more of a more than your average Dynamite.
Yeah.
They were addicted to these for a while. And
yes.
They've moved away, so it's kind of nice to get them back.
Absolutely. They usually hide a big angle or a big something on one of these theme shows. Winter is Coming, the first one, really springs to mind on that basis. No, I'm really looking forward to this. A lot of it is informed by the momentum that AEW has. It really feels like they are getting their together for reasons we've outlined several times. You know, a more stable cast of characters, these smaller, intimate venues. It just feels like they've done. So they launched with that. Don't do what Donny WWE does. With like, right, no scripted promos, we'll do blood, we'll have range, yada, 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 no invisible camera. Now, AEW has progressed to a point where it's stopped doing the stuff that people took the piss out of us for, and they've done that, in my opinion, mostly and very well. Or do what people have asked us to do to improve the product. Move to smaller, intimate venues. Check. No longer do any terrible pre-recorded skits. Check. And then on it goes. And I would just like to say one thing before we go segment by segment, announced segment by announced segment on today's Dynamite card. If you're a 2023 suck-ass apologist, why don't you do this? Dynasty making!
Because which is it?
I'm currently working, as some of my Twitter followers at Sidgwick might have known, because I've been teasing with the odd excerpt. 50 worst moments of the 2020s so far. A big old long form list, 10,000 words. I'm probably passionate, insightful, and a little bit mean-spirited on occasion. Why the hell not? And because it's the 50 worst moments of the 2020s, there's a decent chunk of AEW's 2023. Oh my God. The leaps in logic, the absurd misuse of talent. I was watching some of the Adam Cole, Roddy Strong stuff, and my head was going to come off. My head was on Mars. Like Adam Cole going, like in slow motion when he was happy palling around with Roderick Strong, which incidentally was a master plan to convince MJF that he wasn't going to turn on him, that he was actually bored of Roderick Strong's crack. Woeful. Winnipeg Jets, the Callis family, the Blackpool Combat Club just being baby faces 1 week and heels the next. Like, when you dwell within the AEW world of 2023, if you just stew on what it was like, my God, this stuff is golden age adjacent compared to it.
Yeah, it's wrestling in 2023 for me is like a default to WWE because I thought it was such a strong year. But I remember at the time, because we were reviewing it week on week, my big thing then, I suppose it is still in hindsight, but my big thing then was like AEW kind of for the first time can't act in direct opposition to something. You noted how don't do what Donny WWE does. It's like such a nice situation for a new promotion.
Oh, Christ,
isn't it? They are showing you the opposite.
Yeah.
Do the opposite over, and it's not as simple as that. Obviously, you've got to be super creative. The pandemic doesn't happen without incredible creative, incredible talent and all that. But like, here's a bunch of stuff. Opposites. Like there's your what a great start that is. And then 2023, they were in that exact situation, but in the worst way. Like a kind of like a coherent and increasingly loved WWE, while AEW fans were looking at that going, what the hell is this?
Yeah.
It was like the opposite thing was still true, but in all the worst ways for AEW.
It's weird. I distinctly recall 2023 with, the Winnipeg Jets, and I mean, yes, he had diverticulitis at the time. God bless him, Kenny Omega, my goat. But Chris Jericho had no excuse. Yeah. At the time, he had Ric Flair on a edited Rampage segment inviting women aged 18 to 28 to come to his hotel room. The signing of Ric Flair in the first place was an atrocity.
Hubris because of the Wembley number a bit internally within the company.
Just huge, massive hypocrisy on the part of Tony Khan. Kenny Omega working a trios match, like Don Callis going to the lengths of scouting Chris Jericho to gobble up TV time, even though he was insistent that he was going to say no, and in fact a ruse. And when Chris Jericho went yes, completely healing himself because he just bantered off the babyface JAS, it was a complete and utter mess. I remember saying at the time, because we all got a lot of questions from concerned AEW fans, and yes, we will preview Dynamite at some point. Well, what's it going to take? What's it going to take? What's it going to take? And I was like, you're just going to have to eat for a minute. The plot has been lost. You're just going to have to eat. Because the deal is, the best chance they have, and it worked out pretty well for Paul Levesque, is be terrible for a while, and then in contrast, it will start to look real damn good. WWE had that really bizarre, ironic luxury for 20 full years. AEW about 18 months to 2, but it's such an improvement that this feels better as a result. Anyway, right, I'm broadly very happy with AEW. Not ecstatic. I still think it's going to take 4 or 5 months of just proper, solidified, very good to great TV where I can just really just be like, I'm desperate to watch it this week. I'm desperate to watch it. Which might inform, as will so many years of just these matches are never as good as they appear on the graphic. There is a steel cage match tonight, and quite a big one, between AEW World Champion Jon Moxley and Samoa Joe. I don't like steel cage matches. The heavy, I was going to say almost insulting. It's very insulting. This total baffling, the steel cage is there to lock people out. It always means, it's actually there to pretend we're locking people out, but people are going to come in. It's such a dumb wrestling WWE thing. And it's like, it's an infestation, like total and utter rust, where these things just persist and you cannot get rid of them, even though it's a very good idea to get rid of them, This steel
wrestling
cage
just does stuff.
This wrestling just does stuff. I have a feeling wrestling will do stuff again, because for whatever reason, I mean, the character's all over the place. This Jon Moxley heel character, hypocrite, tough guy, stooge, who's also really hard. I just don't get it. I don't think he gets it. I think it just changes week to week. What's spoiling with Joe if Mox just chokes him out? Wouldn't it be a good idea at this point in the run, when we are, you'd hope, closer to the end of the Death Riders than the beginning? All in must be the destination, in my opinion. What if Mox just chokes out Joe cleanly? Or the attempt is made for him to revert back to that 2022 form where he's just an unbelievable, best-in-class pro wrestler, where he completely found himself. He'd reached that final form. His matches every week with these violent, dramatic, unbelievably distinct wars. Like that Jon Moxley's not here anymore. We should probably make the attempt to go back to it if, in fact, this is going to really, really work. I think it will at least have a great ending, but that will be informed by relief as much as anything else. Can we not have just a genuinely, wholly good ending to this Death Rider saga, and it start a night with an absolute war, blood everywhere? I want to see orange blood and saliva coming out of their mouths when they choke each other, having bloodied each other in this cage. There's a great version of this match, an unbelievable version of this match, like the kind of the Ball Noah's special. But I've just got a feeling it will be a bit sluggish. Moxley's in-ring form, quite frankly, doesn't lend itself to generous speculation, really. He's been a bit rubbish this year.
Yeah.
A bit rubbish. And maybe that is, in fact, a bit kind. Joe can be great, can sometimes be sluggish. And I've got a feeling we're going to see some wacky poorly received finish tonight that just betrays. I was going to say betrays the steel cage. No, it doesn't. That's what the steel cage is now. Get used to it.
Yeah, the promotion of this is greater than the sum of its parts, like the whole. Jon Moxley, Samoa Joe, steel cage, all of them together. I'll give that a look. Like, I think this is quite effective promotion in a way, because they haven't tried to sell you first on a Jon Moxley, Samoa Joe. This is not the Cope thing, where they have the singles match that is bad to build up to the stepped-up rematch that also has the potential to be bad.
Yeah.
They are going straight to the cage, so it allows you to feel as a fan that this is going to be a one and done, like death or glory for Samoa Joe. I've mentioned it on a podcast. I tweeted it. There's a nice main event mafia segment from TNA where capturing Joe in a cage as a stable and breaking his arm was one of the few ways you've ever seen Samoa Joe look sympathetic and pitiable. And that might be the goal tonight. If they were to do that to Joe in a cage setting, because Joe's remembered how effective that was, then that would potentially write him out of Anarchy in the Arena, or certainly harm the babyface's chances for the two big multi-mans we're going to get. And that's not the worst thing in the world. It plays to your idea of trying to strengthen Jon Moxley again ahead of this summer where he actually drops the title. Yeah. So yeah, it's a really tricky one to analyze this, because I kind of want to look at this. And Jon Moxley has been the opposite of a wrestler I want to look at. I'm simultaneously not wowed by his matches, nor curious enough to lean in. And yet for some reason it's all of the component parts. It's the steel cage, because AEW steel cages still feel somewhat unique. They're weird. They're sometimes an odd shape. They're sometimes
there's too much of a
tall or too wide. Or
it's not like they're too tall, not wide enough. Yeah, it's like this weird. It's the worst
of camera side sometimes. Like
it's the worst of both worlds. Between the WWE steel cage and the WWE Hell in a Cell. Obviously, you can't go back in time, even though one wishes one could sometimes. Like, they have always been a bit of an excess promotion. Yeah, and I love it, but at its best. But it's always been that way. They do to a lesser extreme. They do the ECW thing where it's like, we're not doing a DQ. Use a table. We'll have
we'll figure it out.
We'll have the commentators just say, I don't want to throw the match out. I don't want to deprive our great fans of the action here. So the referee will be lenient.
They clean it up in post company on a live show.
Yeah. You know what I mean? So I just considering their very ring is designed in such a way that nakedly facilitates apron stuff just for excess. It should have just been at the Cell all along. Loads of room on the outside so they can do the slingshots and whatever, the wild dives, like dodging a dive, so they can just do these in really wild splats into the cage, because the steel cage is awkward.
Sorry, just to cut in.
No.
You wrote what I would consider the book on the origin story of All Elite Wrestling. Think about that by the end of this year. I've read it. It's great. 120 passionate, insightful words. Still available in the world, as I understand it.
On Amazon.
What, if anything, did Cody... Was the thing where Cody was like, oh, bloody hell, that's tall. Was that like a bit of an accident when he knew he was going to fling it? I
think it was just a LOL AEW moment. They've had that LOL WCW, LOL TNA, LOL AEW history of... What are you doing?
I'm jumping off that tonight. What have you done?
I think they've just not grasped how big it would actually be when they drew up the blueprints. I would have just changed it from there.
Yeah.
And then you could add a little Lisky of like, oh God, these AEW moments you don't remember. How big the cage was.
It took them 15 years to change that chamber. That was like that chamber that was breaking people's bodies from the first one. Triple H got his throat crushed. You'd think that would have been like, we need to make that higher.
Yeah.
It took them 15 years to fix that.
Nice. So, we've got another 9.
Yeah. Lower the cage.
Yeah. So we'll see. But
I sort of kind of high hopes for 3 things I'm generally low on. Both wrestlers and stipulation. Generally, I'm not interested in any of them. For some reason, I think that this has got a hook. And I think that's good promotion. I think it's good use of the gimmick.
Well,
we're kind of cooking something up. People are saying, us are saying, Hook slams the door in Joe's face.
Yeah, the old Star Wars.
Yeah.
The old Star Wars. Yeah. I will say that, I'm down on the stipulation. I'm down on Moxley. I feel like this has got sluggish, not great, but there's the cruel thing about this, or want to be optimistic for once, Sidgwick, you miserable twat.
Twat?
You stupid twat. There's
I heard an American the other week say twat with the flat A sound, and it really threw me off.
how did that sound?
It's like, and I just felt like a total twat. Excuse you?
You got your vowels right.
Yeah, good. Change that up.
This chick, she was sucking my cock.
I didn't like it. It's like,
that's weird. Come on, get it right. Rather get it wrong. There is a version of this match that just completely rocks in a way that you can't
left
believe.
on the mesh.
There's a Let's Bleed version of this match where you have frenzied bloodlust at how hot the brawling is, how much animosity is there, just how physical it is. Will we see it? I don't know, man, but we'll see.
Just quickly,
take as long as you like.
If it's not Hook, and if they resist the urge to throw people in the cage by having the numbers relatively equal on the floor, and the brawl takes place around the match, and then everyone dissolves, and seemingly there's nobody to help Moxley, and Joe's got him, is the twist Jack Perry? Because Moxley was the one guy that ruffled his hair. I know that it's not a popular thing to fantasy book Jack Perry into a situation, but he remains the outlier who fits quite nicely into this. Like, he could be the glue between Mox and the Bucks, couldn't he, if you think about it?
Yeah.
Like,
that's one thing they have in common narratively. Yeah.
So
I don't like the Bucks. I don't want them anywhere near me. They're weird. They don't belong on this board.
But he was always all right.
We always liked him.
And now he's helped me out, so I owe him a bit of a favour.
Yeah. I was trying to think my mind is wandering to Anarchy in the Arena, because there's a nuts and bolts, game here. I think they've already got the 5, that's the thing.
Yeah.
Mox, Claudio, Wheeler. And again, they could build dissension between Mox and Wheeler Yuta if he chooses Perry over him.
Perry's his new favourite kid sort of thing.
Yeah, maybe, but then I'd have to watch Wheeler Yuta versus Jack Perry. And even if it would be
that should be the project stuff. And
I know,
you don't want the project anymore, do you?
Imagine Wilborn reviewing that. So look, the ceiling is lower than I think the consensus believes it to be. And I will leave it at that, and we will move on to, in full Wilborn style, Ricochet versus Zach Gowen. If you've missed it, on Collision, Ricochet having defeated... Who did he defeat on Collision to set up this angle?
Won a top flight.
Nope. 2 more guesses.
Tony Nese.
No. It's like a bit of a throwback jobber to the stars, this one.
Throwback jobber to the stars. John Silver.
No, but you're closer than... It was Angelico.
Oh, there he is.
Why?
Angelico and around.
They're just all around still all the time. So he beats Angelico, goes to George Zach Gowen at ringside, and then, he beats him up, takes off the prosthetic leg, thus setting up this pretty awesome looking match at Beach Break. It's one of those bits of pro wrestling magic, or it should be if done well, and I expect it to go well. Whereas one thing that's going to happen, there is one central thrust. It is not complicated. It is not unpredictable. It is the only thing you're going to do here. And it's going to work because the magic, it's the same genre of, I'm not saying it to anywhere near the same effect. It's the same genre of the Hogan match. You know what it looks like. Mm-hmm. It never changes. It kind of always works. Ricochet is going to be pretty unconscionable. He's going to be blackly hilarious. He is going to punch down. And then Zach Gowen is going to get a hope spot where he does something as awesome as Ricochet does aerially, and everyone in the arena is going to explode on that very quickly. We like to do a little vibe check out of these Dynamite shows because, yes, there's been an increased number of these wonderful, beautiful, ornate theater venues, like packed to the rafters, and they always make for a great vibe. It's not all the time, and in fact, it's not happening tonight. But tonight's Beach Break special of Dynamite emanates from the Now Arena, Hoffman Estates, Illinois. site of the original All In.
But they've scaled it in half.
We scaled it in half.
That's interesting.
Tickets distributed 4,108. Now, that doesn't sound like a great number. It's not a great number. I think it could climb to the current setup of 4,631 because these tickets are moving quickly and they might get a nice little walk up for people who's like, well, there's no real rush to get a ticket. I'll just do it on the day if I can be asked. Like, you can make it look quite big with the production magic. So if I get thinking 4,500, WWE have made that sort of gate look great for years and years of its history. So it could look quite big tonight, and it could be quite loud. And it's Chicago.
That's so much better cutting it in half and having the upper deck full and having a lower bowl and a blacked out.
Yeah, absolutely. So there was news dropped yesterday, where before we get Hamflett's thoughts on Ricochet versus Zach Gowen, that AEW is doing a residency in a Chicago venue with an absolute maximum of 5,000, which they can scale down for TV. 3 Dynamites, 3 Collisions. 3 Dynamites, 3 Collisions in July, I believe.
Blimey, so that's not that...
The venue looks unbelievable as well.
ECW Arena as well, so you can have like Residency City Jones. For
Residency City Jones is the bread in the all-in sandwich, so spectacle, intimate venues, like basically...
Getting Manhattan Center Raw. This is like...
You're getting good vibes,
great
summer vibes, great summer vibes, but this is like not embarrassing, like big-time arena attendance for me. So the vibe should be good, and what I was going to get at is it would behoove AEW to pull off a really good show in Chicago tonight, because obviously they want to sell tickets, even at a smaller venue. So they'll want to be up for this. All the wrestlers will be up for this. How do you see this going?
As blackly hilarious as you laid out, Ricochet wins.
You'll hop around.
Yeah.
I have got a terrible memory for these things. Sorry, I've just stepped on your dick. It didn't take a lot to get off my shoes.
That's decent.
Decent. Zach Gowen, would he start the matches with the prosthetic?
Last night that I can't tell you about. Remind me again. It's small penis related. It's very, very funny.
Okay. Zach Gowen, I can't remember anything really. Would he start to wrestle with the prosthetic leg or just take it off from the opening bell?
Ooh, he's done both.
I thought I couldn't remember.
I think the move here is that he just works without it.
Surely you get I've taken it off. You can't do anything. Build the idea of he's on one leg, can't do anything, but then he does something and it's even more impressive.
So it's Tenacious Z in TNA, who with 2002 internet I was aware of and able to watch, but John Laurinaitis wasn't.
If you don't know, right, Zach Gowen, of course, is a one-legged wrestler. It's not a thing that I would even think to do with 2 legs pro wrestling, let alone if I'd unfortunately lost one. And because it's such a rare thing, there were 2 one-legged wrestlers operating in the United States when people within WWE caught wind of this sort of sensation, we can do something with that. Mm-hmm. And John Laurinaitis, this sounds like the 50-year-old one who isn't remotely if you just looked at them, you think, I want that one, obviously.
Yeah. Can you definitely do an Asai moonsault?
Yeah. Get me on SmackDown, please.
They obviously did the reveal. So he's got the leg, and then he worked 1 match with it, but then after that, it was almost like the entrance itself was this, here he comes, a literal one-legged man in an ass-kicking contest. They don't try and build the heat off losing a prosthetic, but time has passed and maybe Zach Gowen himself has thought, no, there's probably value to trying to start the match with the leg, and then there's easy heat when Ricochet takes it. It's like, it's not working a body part, it's taking one. That's its own thing, isn't it? Somebody tweeted, and I can't remember who it was, so I apologise for completely stealing the take, that there's like various things happening in AEW that led them to believe, as he has done in the past, Tony Khan has just gotten into some tapes for a bit, and that's, sent the cogs turning.
Because he likes to get fixated.
Yeah.
Got fixated on Bobby Fish.
And the tapes
must be Bobby Fish on every Dynamite for 3 months.
It was like, it's all circumstantial.
I love it.
It's like, you remember when he got into Black and Gold NXT for a while? Remember that?
No, yeah, I do, mate. It was bad times.
So it was all circumstantial, but it was like, there's this. Triple H just really enjoying 2003 SmackDown at the moment, right? Triple H. It's Tony Khan. And Zach Gowen was using as one of the examples. There's about 5 things. And I was thinking...
Maybe Ebu this. I think I've read the tweet.
Was it maybe Ebu? Yeah. If it was Ebu, shout out.
Shout out anyway.
Yeah, whoever it was, I apologise. But it got me thinking, like, if that was to be true, and that is not an era that I would exactly celebrate, but as a result, it's easier to come up with things that you would remember from the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought about the 100th attempt at the Big Show's reign of terror. And if Ricochet gets the win, and that in itself isn't heavy, because that Gowen's not like sticking around.
Yeah.
But he's one of the better wrestlers to get a lot of heat on in one night, right? So you're going to work the match. Ricochet's going to win the match despite the hope spot. What if like Zach Gowen's in a really bad way and like Ricochet does something just unconscionable, like lobs the leg into the crowd and then knocks Zach Gowen, leaves him lame, whatever. And they have to get a stretcher out for Zach Gowen. And then Ricochet does the Big Show Rey Mysterio spot, stretcher on a one-legged man.
W fun. W SmackDown fun.
Like just against the post. Just like that is how you maximize your Zach Gowen minutes, isn't it? Because that's the point of this. Like this is a Ricochet scissor attack without the weaponry. You stand to get the comedy plus the real nasty Ricochet all in one tonight.
Yeah, because
you can have it all.
That's the thing, because I do think that as funny as he is and the bold stuff has taken on a life of its own, the idea of Ricochet being that sort of loser taken too far to the limit and will stab someone with scissors.
Yeah.
Let's keep a bit of that.
Yeah.
Because that keeps it in the main event sphere.
You need a bit of danger.
You need a bit of danger. Keeps it in that sort of main event sphere other than, the goof who's really funny for mid-card fare, which is great rule. I'd rather have him that as world champion, but we should be able to level up. And I agree with you. We need his edge to be able to do that. So I love that pitch. Just on that era of SmackDown. Like, I don't go watching it. It's wild how vicious some of it is. Like, it's wild how stiff a lot of it is. Like, my prevailing memory, whenever I sort of cast my mind back to those days, is Taz audibly wincing and losing it when certain moves happen. Like, God damn it!
He has neck PTSD, Taz, doesn't he? Rightfully so as well,
Christ,
but like,
what?
Because it was
What?
It was the post 2002 Heyman fused in ring as well, wasn't it? And Brock on top, and like Kurt Angle going to see like Dr. Joe to avoid having neck surgery, so it could come back quicker.
Yeah.
It was an intense. Can you top this locker room, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Big guys who couldn't do it, and little guys were like, well, how are we going to get the respect of the big guys? We'll have to kill each other.
Kill each other out there.
I love that edge. Scared of it,
but scared.
So I'm scared of that SmackDown era, but I can't like to watch it from over here.
Yeah, same.
What's Bob Holly going to do to you tonight? Like,
I've got a question for you, and it's a question that if any other four wrestlers were the subjects, you'd think, oh, Jesus Christ, this again. But, I mean, who cares? Can Will Ospreay and Hangman Page coexist against Konosuke Takeshita and Josh Alexander?
It's good stuff, this.
Do you know what I mean?
Stuff. Is this a like one of the all-time great can you top this matches to the babyfaces tonight? Does Will Ospreay knock out a buckshot that just looks like the most delicious version of it this side of like a Logan Paul copycat job? Hangman Page looks on in disgust.
No, because you know what he's going to do?
Oh my God.
Buckshot Hidden Blade.
Oh my God. Yes.
So he does the jump in off his feet. He's margins. We're talking the finest of margins, better athlete than Hangman Page, who's an unbelievable, athletic, raw-boned powerhouse dude, Don't hurt me. Sacrilege Corner. New bit. Because sometimes you can have opinions, and people are like, no. It just breaks their brains because it's like the mildest criticism of like this.
I've got one you are going to hate that you don't know that we haven't talked about of late.
Okay, well, I'll do mine first. Okay, so just in case you missed the new bit, we should probably hammer it home, Oh, don't hurt me. Sacrilege Corner.
I love that guy. I know who he is. He's there all the time, but he pops me 100% of the time. Who is he?
I think we'll see
Who is he within Sidgwick?
I think we'll see him again, our friend, very soon. The buckshot is over, which is way, way, way infinitely more important than strictly great, totally logical, and all the rest of it. Like him slowly moving his hands to the ropes means so much more in terms of an audience reaction, in terms of that emotional connection with the Hangman Page character, than the fact that he kind of plants his feet and just does a lariat.
Ironic, because the veterans love that stuff.
Yeah.
And this is Mr. Doesn't Take Advice Hangman Page.
Yeah.
The veterans much prefer it when you get over doing nothing and something.
Yeah. So I don't think that flip does anything.
Yeah.
Like, if anything, it kind of halts. It's over and it's amazing, and I love Hangman Page and all the rest of it, but
it doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
It's wrestling, yeah.
It might matter because if Ospreay can do the flip, leave his feet with a big charged blast the second he lands on them and does a hidden blade to Takeshita's face, I mean, that could be sensational. Yeah. I mean, this match is one of those where it's, I'm not booking it. Yeah. I've picked up that spot, but you can have it, Mr. Ospreay, if you like. But my goodness, it's just going to be insanely great. It's one of those where it's like, I don't think they can coexist. I think there'll be a miscommunication that will breed a little bit of resentment, or not hatred. Let's not overdo it, but the idea of, look, I'll team with you. We're both baby faces. We'll let the crowd pick, but if you're going to do that to me in the match, or I'm going to stiff you in this match because you left me in the ring, or you wanted to tag in when I was just on offense, It's a very, very, very familiar match, but they're going to elevate it to levels you might have never seen before. Look at the level of talent involved. I mean, Takeshita versus Ospreay has got a 4 3/4 star floor. Hangman and Takeshita have had a match that was amazing. Didn't reach for anything else other than a TV match, but it was class, if I recall. 2022, I believe, during the title reign. They might have had exchanges at like Forbidden Door. I got the feeling like they've encountered each other infrequently, but it's always been great.
It's a sort of a little bit of a mirror element of their work, their style.
Yeah.
Like more than might appear obvious.
Discuss. Like, was it Forbidden Dawn? Have I got the players involved? No, I think it might have been Ishii. Basically, someone tried to jump into the ring and Takeshita just clocked them. Yeah. Clocked them with a forearm. And it might have been them two. You might see us, if that spot did happen, you might see it again. Josh Alexander hasn't had the best start of life. A good introduction, not great. Good, not great introduction. And he's had a match on Collision against Brody King that it was a pretty familiar, hard-hitting Hoss fight that got no heat because I think it was on a double taping. So he could do with a good night, and he'll want to impress, so he might be really, really up for this. I expect Alexander to take the pin, realistically. And again, my agenda is, at this point, if you look at the ballooning ranks of the Don Callis family and how much they've already feuded with Ospreay, which it sounds like a problem written down when I see it in the ring tonight. I won't care. It'll be amazing. It's not inspiring, I can't wait to see this, but it'll be great when it happens, I reckon Takeshita needs to turn face and feud with the Callis family now, because this Ospreay versus Callis family thing's been going on a while.
The Takeshita push that isn't a push is becoming a problem all over again, isn't it?
I don't think it is. I think
you don't think so?
Nah, I think it's
there was such an ardent campaign for him to get properly used and pushed.
But it's a low bar. But he was barely wrestling last year.
True, yeah.
In AEW anyway. Yeah. Barely wrestling. He's on the show way more than he was last year. And I know he deserves more, but I will take it just to see him wrestle. He
continues to be the meritocracy buster, doesn't he, Takeshita? He's always the guy. We always, there's a utopian ideal.
You could say Fletcher's outperformed them.
Well,
and that is a meritocracy, bro.
Yeah. There's a utopian idea with we try and get across this, but we're all guilty of it in some respects with our faves or whatever. But there's always that. You can find any wrestler on any roster who will have at least one fan going, come on, insert promotion here. Why are you not using whatever? And the reality is that you never want that like slate of main eventers. You need main eventers, mid-carders, you need jobbers, you need everybody up and down the card. And I would say for a while, it still feels to me like Takeshita is not where he should be, but I do take your point about Kyle Fletcher, and I do, while AEW is starting to function as its best self again, then there is that argument of, you've got to make yourself look the biggest and the best, and that's what Fletcher has done of late. My thing, you mentioned, good word there, you mentioned agenda. I have a bit of an agenda here, and it won't surprise you, Sid, to know that it's nothing to do with the obvious quality of this 4 3/4 star match. of which it will be.
You sound thrilled at the prospect, mate.
I know, it's terrible, isn't it? I would like, there's a wrestler I'm a fan of, I don't think you like him, Kenny Omega.
Shut up.
I would like them, Will Ospreay and Hangman. I would like Will Ospreay and Hangman Page.
I know it's really annoying when people really feel the need to stress their tastes every second of the day, but I did have to say it that one occasion.
I'll let you have that one. I would like Will Ospreay and Hangman Page to approach this as if they were Kenny Omega and Hangman Page approaching Revolution 2020. I am way more interested. You've said, can they coexist, right? I'm way more interested in Hangman Page and Will Ospreay's theatre between them ahead of their own match than I am the absolutely exhilarating exchange of moves that take place in the 12, 15
I mean, this match could be even better than we think it's going to be. I think it'll open.
I think there is such an opportunity here to tell stories, to build on the promo from last week of Ospreay being the guy and Hangman starting to think he's the guy. Like, what if there is a situation where Josh Alexander is sat up and Hangman finds himself in the corner and he's like, well, and he goes for like the swerve stomp. And there is a reveal there that Hangman Page has never truly eradicated the ghost of his past. Whereas Ospreay, to your point about the buckshot hidden blade,
it's focused.
It's the best. Like, you had Hangman thinks he might be there, Ospreay knows he is. And those are the two paths they're on.
I like that.
Like, I think there is such an opportunity here to. It doesn't have to be those specific spots, but the point I'm making is like, I thought that was such an elegant. Like, I personally felt under-discussed element of the promo battle between the two last week because everybody just got on to talking about Will Ospreay's shirt and stuff.
Yeah.
But like,
his $600.
Yeah.
600 quid.
600 quid, mate. Exchange rate's about to play same now. £1 for $1. You used to get £2 for $1 once upon a time. What's happened? Didn't it? Used to be better. Oh, I tell you what, man, the Canadian dollar is still kind of that.
Is it?
You go to Canada.
Have you been to Canada recently?
I'm going to continue to talk about it. You get like,
I was in the office all alone.
Like sort of $12 poutine. You're like, that's like $6.50. Oh my god.
Are you eating cheesy chips in Canada? Were you? What a mock!
I had 4 in one day because I had a bet with Phil and Nicholas that I couldn't, and they spent $100 on Calgary merchandise as part of the bet. It was one of my great days. You'll find out about that when you get round to listen to Phil and Fed's Excellent Adventure. Where
sorry. Actually, hang on.
Yeah.
So what I do on a Wednesday night is I watch SmackDown, all 3 hours of it, catch up on, if I've missed any NXT. Good.
Sometimes a second watch. There's that guy again.
Yeah,
little guy in there.
There's a little guy in there. I'm gonna have to listen to all of the travelogues that you did on the wrestling feed.
It's lovely this because if we don't talk about the deaths, I get to like surprise Sidge in the middle of a podcast with another Canadian story. But no, the point I wanted to get back to about the match.
Let's put my headphones in when we're finished.
Plenty of time to talk about my fun trips. Is that I would really like them to get a little bit artsy fartsy. Like, indulge. This match at Double or Nothing is massive. The stakes are high. Yeah. The quality is out the ass. It's a first time meeting. It's liquid AEW. Like, we've signed the consensus best wrestler in the world and we're putting him against our self-appointed and fan-appointed, should I say, main character. It gets no bigger than this, folks. Like, live in that. Like, this is a proper opportunity to, like, it's like a micro-dose Omega Page thing here. They really have something.
On Omega Page, I had an idea for a spot now that we've drawn the parallels here. Full Gear 2020, one of the greatest pay-per-view openers of all time. They tell the story through ingenious execution of the physical stuff that Page is so goddamn close, but he's just not there. He's so goddamn close. The amount of times that they duck something or counter something like a twat hair length of just like distance between intent execution.
Hair blows because they were that close.
Yeah. What if it does in fact break down between Ospreay and Hangman Page, and Ospreay just red mist goes to Hidden Blade Page, then just misses him like that, and then elbows Alexander in the face, and that's the pin. And like, we've won, but what cost? It's like, it's like, you're not close to me, Ospreay. You think you're coming to my spot? Nah.
I really want this.
Yeah. There's loads they can do here. Didn't hurt me. Sacrilege Corner. You said you had one. Let's hear it.
I've gone off Vader.
What do you ever do?
Well, that's increasingly what I'm starting to ask as I watch his matches, Sidgwick.
I mean, the guy's been dead for a while, and
you know, it's like I've gone off Vader. In absolute fairness to him, I've been watching quite a bit of his.
I've seen him maul Sting
of his
like a bear.
Well,
it's horrific.
Right,
it's amazing.
I have seen him maul Sting. We're body swapping here, right? Because you will tell me off sometimes. Oh, well done, Hamflett, a wrestler like had 2 good years 10 years ago. Grow up, get over it. I did. I left him in the pain.
I left him in the pain.
Right? I've seen those Sting Vader matches, captivated as I was when I was younger. We all were. Scary. A scary guy. Scary guy. And they hold up. I've watched look, Federer notwithstanding, because it's imperfect. There are highs, but it's imperfect. I accept that. But then off the back of that, I did that thing where you're like, I've disliked this way more than I thought. I need to go watch some other stuff to just remind myself how I feel. So I went pre-Sting and I was watching some of his like early WCW impression making stuff coming off the back of his Japan run where he teamed with like Bigelow and stuff like that. And like the aesthetic is still impeccable.
Oh, it's great.
I look at the mask and I can see wrestlers having to sell not with their face at the punches, but the stink. But like, I'm losing it. I'm watching. I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Like like the squash matches, like I've got way less intensity than I remember. I'm starting to watch those Sting squashes and be like, that's Sting. That's like the ultimate sympathetic guy. Like the Cactus Jack brawls are sickening, right? But then I'm going, well, like, you've seen the bumps that Mick Foley's taken. Like, if Mick Foley doesn't take those bumps, that's Vader monster in a guy. And I'm like, and then I'll find myself watching like a Sid squash and being like, there's the animation that I want. There's my, like the punches.
His stuff look.
The punches were feather light, and this is what I mean. So this is not sacred cow stuff, just picking on dead wrestlers because there's 2 dead wrestlers and we can disagree on the dead wrestlers. But like, there's a bit of animation, a bit of fun to it. Like I've just gone off Vader.
Okay.
Like
well, from one horse to another.
Sacrilege Corner, isn't it?
It is Sacrilege Corner. We did implement this. No one told us to do it.
What does the little guy say again?
Don't hurt me. From one horse to another, Bobby Lashley gives his answer to MJF tonight. Are you allowed in the Hurt Syndicate? Thumbs in the middle. Hold that for tension. Do we go thumbs down or do we go thumbs up, Michael Hamflett?
Down.
Again, not another one.
Down. You mentioned at the start of this podcast, big angle, big reveal. Down is how you get the big angle. I'm sort of sticking my neck out on it, I guess, because like up is its own fun. Up is Bobby Lashley, fine.
Fine, we'll all wear the Burberry suits and it's going to be an amazing image.
Yeah, Shelton's into it. MVP's got the history, so the 2 of them are good to go. It's not as awkward a fit as it might have been 6-7 weeks ago. Down is an angle of a different kind, isn't it? It's a reveal of what's actually going on here. Like MJF revealing, like Pinnacle 2. And the mentions of the Pinnacle might have just been red herrings, but, you know.
MJF is exactly the kind of wrestler who would do that, spark the conversation.
Yeah. But the reveal of what exactly is going on, the reveal of MJF seemingly acting out of anger that he's not been accepted, but it being MJF with the knowledge that I was always going to get rejected. I'm going to reveal what I was actually playing at here and what I was actually trying to do. And I don't know. And this has been the theme of this entire story. I don't know. I love it.
Yeah.
That has been every single week. The ultimate, like, as soon as they nailed the thumb thing, the first week that happened, I was like, that's brilliant. That's absolutely fantastic.
Do it for 6 months if you like.
Yep. Like, that's pro wrestling. Like, that simple tease and the idea that in a building, people get that validation.
Note how the fans react to the thumbs.
Note that.
Yeah, note it.
I don't know if you'll like this comparison. I love it. Shout out Matty from Grapple, who made the comparison of, and I don't know if he used this specific example, but there are lots you can pull from, of Sami Zayn and the Bloodline. And the example I would give here is the T-shirt reveal. That's what they've got with the thumb. Yeah. Like, get that T-shirt off.
I love the T-shirt.
I got you a new one.
Yeah.
And like, they know what they're playing with there. Wrestling's such a great art form for that. It's the, you know, when they say about like, you can't heckle and make noise at the theatre. This is the idea, like the sort of the perfect sort of compromise of those 2 ideals. And I just think Lashley not getting it and still being stubborn gets heat in the building. to almost put sympathy in MJF. You fucking joking me?
Yeah.
And then the reveal of what MJF's playing at here shows itself either tonight or in the weeks to come.
Absolutely. Again, I don't know the answer. This is unbelievable, episodic, outcome, hook-based, weekly cliffhangers. It's great. I didn't write it. I don't know about it. It doesn't really fit the expected rhythms of any of the wrestling story, the likes of which we've just seen on a loop, on a rotating loop all the goddamn time. I'm with you. On a night like Spring Break, where they've thought, right, okay, well, what ideas how can he say no? Because we know he has to say no. Say that they had this idea, we'll do it at Spring Break, whatever it is. We've got 4 weeks till Spring Break, right? What are 4 funny ideas to say no, and then we'll build a Spring Break. Themed show, an angle set to happen. My head tells me it can't be as simple as Lashley going, really impressed that you gave the customer what he wanted last week, so this week you're in. Yeah. Thumbs up. You could do it that way because there's potential for like a really funny celebration. Like MJF just getting uppies on Lashley and just jumping on him and wrapping his legs around his waist, and Lashley going, God, I regret it already. Or like a conditional yes, but 1 strike policy. And then they could build the thumb to strike number... Not strike 1 yet. Oh, no, strike 3 policy. Like you got a strike 3 policy, and then MJF like loses a match for the Hurt Syndicate or botches an interference, and then Lashley can go 1. Then does it again 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 strike 2, and then the tension of strike 3. Basically, I just want to see wrestlers do stuff with their digits. So maybe a conditional yes, but then this is the night where you say strike 3. You never want to see Maxwell, me, do this. Build the idea that he's going to do it at some point. So that's what I reckon they should do if, in fact, they say yes.
Yeah. The Dynamite Diamond Ring came back into play, didn't it, last week as well, with MJF, like, bloodying up people with it. That is always, like, because of the lore they infused in that with Punk and Wardlow, like, the idea that, like, MJF can bloody up even a Bobby Lashley with that ring. Like, when you say about, like, strike 3, the idea, like, that's going to be my finger, actually. This one. Like, there's my 3 strikes. That's that one. And he eventually, there's heat in that, you know? It's, I love this. You know, I love this for all that I've not been able to see about it. I never saw any of it coming. It's been and actually, to go back to something else we were talking about earlier on, they very smartly kept MJF in the Ospreay Hangman conversation. Yes. We flagged it in the first week, and then they have since acknowledged it loads. Yeah. Why would I enter this stupid ass tournament? I'll get my title.
I was the one who said it, bro.
I'll get my title shot. And that's been central to MJF's involvement with both Ospreay and Hangman. So he's not... It's CM Punk-esque in the terms of the fact that feud was a diversion from the world title for both of them. This Hurt Syndicate thing is technically a diversion for MJF. He's actually still looking to get back to the belt, and this has become his little side quest. Yeah. So, pretty cool.
Loads to explore, loads of avenues they could take, lots to think about. What do you think about that? Think about this. There's no ladies' night this week because Adam Wilborn is, I think he's back this afternoon, all going well. But obviously he's not with us today. Although it would be uncharacteristically quiet if he was. So we've got to cover the one women's match, but without the game because it wouldn't be fair. My notes say that the rich tradition of AEW 4-way women's matches continues because in an women's world title eliminator, it's Toni Storm versus Mina Shirakawa versus Azumi versus Skye Blue. And I saw this match graphic drop, and I'm like, bloody hell, is the power back? Because I'm thinking that's way better than last week's, no offense to the participants in it. A very interesting collection of names. 2 potential winners not named Toni Storm that I would go, yeah, do that at Double or Nothing. Why the hell not?
Yeah.
I feel like Toni Storm's not winning this one.
I think she is, but I get why you would say otherwise.
I'm thinking, look, I don't know what... Usually, right, if, say you're in a provincial town in Blighty. You're like, bloody hell, ex-WWE stars coming to my town. It usually means they're going to like 8 other towns, and the different promoters have just said, I will chip in on the flight. So I don't know if, like, similar to Yamashita the other week where she just happened to be in the States. While you're here. I don't know if Azumi's got anything else going on, or they've just decided to bring her in for this one match. Wouldn't surprise me if she wins and they have the match with Toni Storm, which is very well regarded, you know.
It's new as well. It's fresh.
New, fresh. Shirakawa, do you bring her back purely? She's not eating the pin here. I think Sky Blue eats the pin.
Is Mina signed?
Yeah.
It's weird,
she's left Stardom and she's actually signed under a full-time AEW deal now.
It's weird, this, isn't it? Because
don't bring her back just to do a job here, which makes me think, she might win it.
Yeah. Well, like, the timing of it is awkward because obviously she was kind of central to the Toni and Mariah thing, but now Mariah may leave. And that kind of like Mina Shirakawa, I'm not saying anyone signed under false pretenses, nor does Mina Shirakawa need partners.
Yes.
But an element of it feels like that's where she'd have slotted in, and straight away she might have lost her primary reason to drop into the world.
She did already feud with in the end and lose to Mariah May.
Yeah.
So I feel like there's not a great deal of continuity there. They could still find a way, but I don't necessarily think she needs that. It's weird this. I can see 3 people winning this. Sky Blue, I can't. They could easily explain this in that pure way of, she's just coming back from injury. It might take her a while to get back to winning ways or whatever. But good for her. Glad to see her back. In a match like this, she was really good at taking a kicking. She was up for it.
Yeah.
Up for out Sky Blue. So she'll take some mad stuff in this. I can see Storm winning because it's Toni Storm, and you have your top stars win a lot. That's not what goes into making a top star, but it's a very massive principle of keeping a top star a top star. So I can see Toni Storm winning. I can see Azumi winning because she's really well regarded, really critically acclaimed. And I'm thinking if you brought her in just to be in a match that somebody else has a job in a 4-way, it just seems wasteful. And Shirakawa, again, why bring her back full time in this match just to have her not win it? I reckon this will be way more dramatic and unpredictable, and I think there'll be some bombs. Long story short here, I'm bang up for this. I think it'll be great.
Yeah, no, I agree. I like the match, and you're right, and it's not cruel to say either. Like, this will probably be the stronger of the two. I know
the best in the long tradition of women's 4-ways.
I know comparison is the thief of joy, but we are kind of being encouraged to stack up these 4-ways against one another, aren't we? So, like, I think this will be a stronger one. I'm going with Toni Storm because I think the AEW doesn't have rankings in the strictest sense anymore, but Toni Storm only...
They don't have rankings at all.
No. But they theoretically adhere to, the thing that if we did bits would be a bit about, well, if so-and-so's beaten so-and-so, that gets them ready for so-and-so. That's still something they try and, like, hold themselves to somewhat. Has Toni Storm... She won the belt back at Grand Slam?
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes.
Like, so are they trying to do a thing where ahead of potentially Toni Storm versus Mercedes Moné, somebody who has only just lost a belt, but otherwise and in AEW is undefeated, won everything, beaten everybody. It's not just that she's won the Owen to get a title shot. It's Toni Storm's time, and Mercedes Moné is knocking on the door now. If that's indeed what it might be here, but let's say it's Mercedes Moné. Are they trying to inflate the stats, the figures, the
data
behind the second Toni Storm reign to sort of say, well, yeah, she did all of that in the first couple of runs with a title, but in this one, she's knocked out the whole division. She's winning 4-ways. Like, the numbers are on Toni Storm's side, and like by winning 2 4-ways in a row, the idea is, well, that's 6 dominoes that have fallen in 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and she's won like on pay-per-views and the like, and they might not even have a work double or nothing. She might just be there as a guest capacity awaiting the win.
She'd commentate.
Aye, and she's great at that as well. There is no division left other than the best of the best. Like, and that's why I would have Toni Storm win. And then when we were talking in the office, I wouldn't be opposed to. I've forgotten the frigging name of it. Hey, it's better than the Rumble now. AEW's Rumble. I keep wanting to call it Casino Battle Royale.
Casino Gauntlet.
Casino Gauntlet, thank you, yeah. They just do a Casino...
You're welcome.
Casino Gauntlet with the best of the rest for Double or Nothing. That will be the second women's match on the show, but it is basically a showcase of the entire division. And it's the first time in a while AEW get to do a bit of a flex of some of their hard work.
Yeah.
Like, they've got a women's division of not insignificant renown, finally. Like, if you look at, they did the Willow and Stat, we're friends now, let's have a match, respect match on a Collision. There's a confidence there. To run that on a Collision instead of needing it for a Dynamite is showing that there is...
Don't need anything on a Dynamite. They've only got 52 matches in here, book all year.
But the complimentary side of that pie. You don't look at the whole pie, Sidge.
Look at the whole pie, Jenny.
Is there some depth again? There's depth. We've had 2 4-ways in 2 weeks with like 6 challengers that were credible winners. We potentially fantasy booked 2 to win here. You've got an Owen Cup tournament with a bunch of other women.
Yeah.
You've got this Stat Willow Law match that takes place on a Collision. The depth is there. Like, you do the Casino Gauntlet for a TV challenger for Toni Storm while doing the Owen Cup for the All-In match.
Yeah.
It's like that. It doesn't have to make the division look healthy on pay-per-view, doesn't it?
It does. I just think that Toni Storm is one of the biggest draws. They'll want to have a match on pay-per-view, whether it's predictable or not.
And you can just get a straight.
And I want at least a second women's match on AEW pay-per-view, and it is one of the best things going in AEW right now, that women's division and the characters in it. I just think that it's either Azumi or Shirakawa to win.
Azumi, I think, because she's just beaten Mercedes, so you're tying them together as well. Yeah, that's probably the match, isn't it? If there's going to be a winner.
And I think last week's 4-way, I like your idea of it just, she's beaten 6 people in 2 weeks, you know. But I think maybe last week's exists to be a little bit of a red herring of, Toni Storm, it's just a 4-way so she can pin someone in. Oh, no, she's actually lost for that shock effect, that shocking awe. Booking. So we'll see about that. That concludes everything that is currently scheduled for Dynamite tonight. If there's anything else, tough titties. We're recording this 12 hours in advance of it. But if you're excited for this card like we are, let us know at WhatCulture WWE on Twitter/X. Whilst you're there, you can follow Michael Hamflett at
Michael Hamflett.
You can follow me at Sidgwick. We'll have the NXT review, all going well, dropping later today. And we'll be back tomorrow to review AEW Dynamite. In the meantime, don't forget to subscribe to WhatCulture Wrestling for daily wrestling podcasts, wherever you get them from. Thank you very much to Michael Hamflett for joining me. Thank you for joining us as well. And we will see you soon.